Hey, what's up everyone? Pratima here. I hope you guys are doing well. I am pretty fine myself. So today I have a pretty special phone with me, which is this guy, the Realme GT NEO 5. It is also known as the Realme GT3 in the global market, and you guys might be wondering what's so special about this phone, right? So what's special here is the fact that this is the world's fastest charging phone. With an absurd 240 watt charging, Realme says that the GT3's 4600 mAh battery can fill up completely in just 9.5 minutes. Insane. That's actually less time than it takes me to organize my desk or take a quick shower or listen to Taylor's version of All Too Well. Okay, so before going any further, let's unbox this phone real quick. Okay, so opening up the box. Alright, so we have a mini paper box and we got one ejector tool, and then we have some paperwork to deal with, stuff that nobody ever reads. Then we have this nice looking silicone case. Then we have the phone itself. Alright, there you go, a closer look. This phone actually feels quite good on the hands, and this white finish, I really love it. And then you also get a 240 watt charger. Now it would have been quite awkward if we had to buy a compatible 240 watt power brick and USB cables separately, but thankfully, unlike Samsung and Apple, Realme provides that in the box itself. Next up, we get the cable inside the box, which is actually a Type-C to Type-C cable. Alright, so I have cleared everything up, and now let's talk a little about how Chinese smartphone makers have been really going at it to come up with faster charging speeds, and Oppo is among the front runners in this race. In case you didn't know, Oppo is the parent company of Realme and OnePlus, and both of them borrow a lot of Oppo stuff in their smartphones, including fast charging tech. For example, the 150 watt ultra dart charge on last year's Realme GT Neo 3 and OnePlus 10T's 150 watt SuperVOOC charging are both Oppo innovations. I mean, Oppo had demonstrated its 240 watt SuperVOOC flash charging tech over a year ago, and this is the first commercially available phone to support 240 watt fast charging. Alright, now enough talk. Let's plug this phone in and see if the Realme GT3 can actually hit that 100% in under 10 minutes. Let's go. Okay, so I have set up the timer and everything, and I've drained the battery out of this phone, and it only has 1% juice left. So here we go. Let's plug it in quickly. Okay, so we have the charging animation and it says SuperVOOC 240 watt. Let's see how much charge it gets in 30 seconds. Okay, so 15 seconds, 20, 30 seconds. So it went from 1 to 6% in 30 seconds. Damn, that is impressive. And Realme says that with just half a minute's worth of power, the GT3 is good for 2 hours of phone calls, 3 hours of music playback, or 1 hour of streaming videos, which is extremely impressive. So yeah, you can basically kiss your battery anxiety goodbye with this phone right here. Alright, so we're 1.5 minutes into the charging thing, and we have 20% battery already. And besides this crazy quick charging speed itself, the charging animation with decimal point progress looks very cool, to be honest. I am just going to let it fill up to 100%, and then I will share my final results. So as you can see from this chart, our Realme GT3 took a little more than 11 minutes to go from 1 to 100%. I know it's not the same as the advertised 9 minutes and 30 seconds, but that's perfectly fine because Realme's data actually comes from a temperature-controlled lab, while here we're working with a real-life scenario. So this actually means that if you live in slightly hotter temperatures, the charging speeds might differ. Now, as expected, pushing such an incredible volume of power means that the phone gets quite warm during the charging process. But for that, Realme has actually included all sorts of sensors, safety protection measures, and a vapor chamber liquid cooling system to manage the heat. Realme says that the GT3 is even TUV Rainland certified for a safe charging system, so you don't have to worry too much. But Still, if you're not convinced, then you can just turn off the smart rapid charging from the settings. What this will do is that the phone will take a little longer to juice up, but then it stays relatively cooler than before. Okay, apart from the heat, battery health is also a big concern with such rapid fast charging speeds, but Realme actually assures that the GT3 can maintain an incredible 80% battery health even after 1600 charge cycles, which is incredible and also double the industry standard. Now, talking about the 240 watt GAN charger, which I have right here. It's a bit heavy, but look at just how compact and cute this thing is. It's almost the same size as the 120 watt GAN charger of the Redmi Note 12 Pro. It also supports like 67 watt power delivery fast charging, so not only it can juice up the GT3 like super fast, but you can also use it to charge your MacBooks, iPhones, Samsung phones, or any other compatible devices. Another thing that I like about the GT3 is its build quality too. As you can see, it has this ceramic-like matte glass at the back, which feels incredibly smooth to touch, and the heft of this phone is pretty nice too. And in case you hadn't noticed, there's a lot going on next to the camera module as well. Realme has highlighted the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chip powering this phone with a special polish, and you can also get this unique RGB lighting ring around here. This pulse interface, as Realme likes to call it, is basically the same as the LED notification light that we used to get in older smartphones. I remember like back in 2017, the Samsung Galaxy J7 Max had it, so this is practically similar to that. Up front, the Realme GT3 has a 6.7 inches AMOLED display with a sharp 1.5K resolution. And as you can see here, the colors look really nice, the contrast is amazing, and the bezels actually are quite thin too, which is a very good thing. By the way, this is also a true 144Hz display, unlike the iQOO 11 I tested a while back. So Realme has set the refresh rate to 120Hz by default, but you can bump it up to 144Hz on per app basis inside the settings. Moving on, so performance-wise, the Realme GT3 uses slightly underclocked version of the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chip with up to 16GB LPDDR5X memory and a terabyte of UFS 3.1 storage. Now, we already know just how reliable and how powerful the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 is, so with this phone, you can expect flagship-level performance here. In terms of cameras, it has a 50 megapixel Sony IMX890 sensor with OIS, which is actually the same sensor that we have seen on a lot of recent phones like the OnePlus 11, the OnePlus 11R, and the Oppo Find N2 Flip that I reviewed a while back. Then there's an 8 megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens and a 2 megapixel microscope lens, along with a 16 megapixel shooter at the front. Okay, now let's take a few pictures and see how these cameras perform in real life. Okay, so what do I take a picture of? Myself, first of all. Let's take a selfie. Okay, there you go. So here's the picture. I like how my skin has not been made pale like with most Realme smartphones, and the texture in your skin is there, which is also a good thing, but I would have liked if it had like maintained the exposure a little better here. So selfie, 8 out of 10. Just initial impressions, okay? So let's take a picture of something else. Let's take a normal picture of our office. There you go, normal ultra wide angle lens. It only has an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, by the way. So yeah, the colors seem a little like boosted, but not in a very unnatural way. The exposure handling is very good. I would say the dynamic range is also nice. And let's check the ultra wide angle lens. The ultra wide angle, you don't have a lot of details in the ultra wide angle shots. It's an 8 megapixel sensor, so yeah, there's that, but the exposure handling is well, so that I will give it to Realme. Okay, so I see a sleeping dog right there, so let's disturb the dog. 1, 2, 3. Oh 1, 2, 3, smile. I see a little bit of smoothening going on in her fur, but the detail levels are not bad. Contrast is very nice. So again, yeah, like 8.5 out of 10, maybe. Let's take a portrait. 1, 2, 3, smile. Alright, so let's check the portraits. I guess there's a little bit of like skin whitening going on here, but the overall picture is not bad. The blur is like kind of not very natural, but again, it's okay. What do you think about your portrait?
Nice.
Okay, he says it's nice. So overall, I am in my initial impressions, like good enough cameras. So everyone, that's all for my unboxing and first impressions of the all-new Realme GT3. Now, even though its biggest highlight is the fact that this phone charges at a whopping 240 watts, but along with that, it seems like Realme has actually pulled off quite a balanced semi-flagship phone here. Now, of course, this is just my initial impressions of this phone, and I'll be coming up with its full review pretty soon with all the details that you need to make your purchase decision. So watch out for that. Make sure you're subscribed to Gadget Byte so that you don't miss out on that video. Till then, I'm Pratima, and I will see you in my next one.